Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Descent into Avernus. This is, it's Descent into Avernus Road Warriors of Hell. This is Session 5, Cold as Hell. And we are going to get into this game here in just a moment. First, a couple of quick announcements. Last night, Monday night, we wrapped up our 2022 episodes, live episodes of Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. But throughout the month of December, every Monday in December, we will be airing new sessions, pre-recorded sessions of interludes that this is our second year doing them. We have a lot of fun. I get to do a deep dive with each of the characters, taking them on a one-on-one adventure for a couple hours. And next Monday will be the first one of those, featuring Gary's character Doc, and it is called I Had a Dream That You Were Calling Me. So you can catch those at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday night. Speaking of final episodes, tonight is our final session of 2022, our final live session here right now. We will be returning in January with our next session. So in the meantime, you can use December to catch up on, if you missed the previous sessions, you can catch up on all those. All of our VODs are available on youtube.com/mini terrain domain. Also, I would like to draw your attention to up above my head, as you can see here, these soul coins up there. We can only get those from you, the audience. These soul coins are this game's domain dice. It is a way that you, the audience, can have an impact on the game simply by cheering 500 bits, tipping $5, subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs. All those earn us soul coins that we can use to either we can spend 1 to gain advantage on a roll, we can spend 3 to re-roll, or we can spend 5 to make our DM re-roll. So keep that in mind. We've only got 5 up there. So those are our soul coins. And we're in hell. We need soul coins. I think I think that's actually it for the announcements, except for one final check-in before we start our game, as we do before every game. We just want to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether or not you believe it, it is true. We understand that sometimes it can be a struggle. You might be struggling with any number of things. First off, know that it is okay to not be okay. But you do not have to struggle alone. At any time, you can come here into our chat and you can type !help, as I have just done. And a couple of URLs will pop up. First up is findahelpline.com. That is a free resource. You simply put your name, or sorry, not your name. You put your location, just your location. Where are you in the world? And it will pop up with regional help services, a variety of services, whether it's mental health services, domestic services, addiction services. You can find those there, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to visit those sites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I'm a little disappointed Dwight's not here to recognize the record time at which I just got through announcements, and I'm turning the game over to our dungeon master, Vi.
Well, thank you. Let's just get right into the game then. It's been a long time since our last session, both in-game and out of game. We've been traveling on the bleak wastes of Avernus, on the backs and inside the hulls of these massive war engines, infernal machines crafted from the hell-wrought iron and charged by infernal devices that rip and tear across the sands at breakneck speeds, faster than any chariot or any horse could ever take you. It's been an uneventful long time. You've Some of you gotten the chance to rest and recover and recuperate. Others are, of course, covered head to toe in dust, hands aching from steering these machines. And as it kicks up a lot of sand in the riding, it's gotten everywhere. Many of these kinds of days have passed, in and out, the same blasted wasteland with no sign of it changing. You feel like you have to trust your Kenku guides a bit. This Avernus seems to be scant and sparse of landmarks to follow. But there's only one way forward, and that is forward. On this eventful day, however, the keen amongst you would notice a strange nip in the air as you're riding this way. Some kind of chill breeze as the temperature drops and plummets. Of a strange ashy snow hangs in the air, and it bites at your skin as you race forwards. The wind is like knives upon your skin. You find yourself having to bundle up to protect yourself against this cold. And then as the temperature plummets even further, big gouts of black smoke, a strange unearthly sound coming from the engine of both of your buggies, both of your engines, as they come to a stall. Oh, blast it! One of the Kenku says from underneath the inside the cockpit. Fucking it up, muttering, and you see the Kenku hop out, opening the small little door from the cockpit and going around and inspecting with a little warhammer. That's kind of smashing bits and realizing that there's something more troublesome involved. Why these war machines have died, have stalled out. It seems our rides have broken down. You can hear the one Kenku brother, Chuka, say to his brother Clonk. Eric and Jacob, you are riding on your little war buggy right behind the Devil's Ride. And yours, really soon after the Devil's Ride does, yours breaks down as well. Next to, kind of a few yards away, only a few yards behind Chuka and Clonk's large Devil's Ride. How do you respond to this?
I think immediately Jacob is going to expend a psychic die and talk to I've forgotten his name, the talkative Kenku.
Chuka.
Chuka, yeah, Chuka. And I will also, because I get two creatures, I will also have in my head might as well Eric as well, so he can do this. So immediately that goes out, and I'd be like, Chuka, what is wrong with these? What is wrong with these machines?
It seems that the Acadian Leylights have affected the abyssal flux capacity drives. Because I'm trying to get it intact, get it up and running again, but it seems we have some kind of planar infusion going on here.
Yes, I caught all of that. But what does that mean? What do we need to do?
It means I gotta smack this a few times and get it up and running again. And I'll do the same with yours.
If you tell me what to do, I could do it as well.
There's no use. You know what? Make yourself useful. You see that over there? I can see it through the fog. Can you see it? Kenku points a gnarled black feathered finger to the distance.
I look that direction.
See that ominous shadow in the fog? That says, Another war rig like ourselves. I imagine probably happened to them too. Only let's hope their muscle flexibility drive is intact and not stalled out from too much canyon ley lights like ours is. Let's go check it out. It's probably abandoned, and just bring it back. Go pull it off the engine and see if it works. We switch it out ours, it'll be fine. We'll get ours up and running again. And we can then hook up the ley lights from our drive to yours, and it'll restart your engine too.
And I will paraphrase all of that into Eric's head about heading out to that.
It's not like a speakerphone or a conference call.
I don't think so. I'm just checking that.
Eric has
It would be
entered the chat.
perfect. It would be perfect if it was. Let's just see.
I'm surprised you didn't
Yeah,
see
you know
it.
what?
It's so big in the distance. Do you have dim eyes?
It does say like the chosen creatures can speak telepathically with you, and you can speak telepathically with them. So I can imagine I'll just like open up the link.
A three-way conversation.
Yeah. It's only going to last an hour this time, but that should be enough. And we have up to a mile. So if the vehicle's like less than a mile away, we will still be able to talk to Chuka, or I'll be still able to talk to Chuka.
I'm already climbing out of the vehicle. It's the probably abandoned part that got me a little concerned as I unstrap my Hellfire great axe from the side of this war machine and strap it onto my back and start getting ready for a walk.
It's more than probably abandoned. You see this planar osmosis going on. No one would want to live in here. Nothing will inhabit this place.
I too will.
It's cold and bitter and ugh.
I too will disengage and prepare. And as they're leaving, I'll just kind of turn to Aeolian. Guard our backs. Make sure we don't get ambushed on the way there. Because you can stay with the vehicle.
And I think that's Chuka would notice that some of you like talking to your other companions. No, not all of you go. Don't leave us behind and abandoned. Well, I can only take about 3 people or so. To small squads, you know.
Of course. Jacob and I and Zoe, you look like you're up for a walk.
Oh, I really like walks. Yeah, sure. Let's go. This is gonna be kind of weird, isn't it?
Pretty much everything since we've arrived here has been what I would classify as weird.
You're not wrong. But this is a whole new level of weird.
So listen, all you have to do is go in, get out. What you're looking for is probably going to be in the boiler room on such a rig that big. You can't miss it. It looks like it's going to eat you, and that is the one. It is a fragment of the abyss, infernally etched, of course, to bind it. But that is what you're looking for. It is part of the engine process. It's part of the oomph and the roomf of our war engines. Of course, with a rig that big, maybe there are multiple. Who knows? Maybe it's a big one. We can split it in half like an egg and share. Yes, share.
All right, well, the quicker we get there, get this done, the quicker we can get back on the road.
In the meantime, I will make sure all our vehicles are in good shape and ready for your parts that you come back with. And don't get lost.
The straight line.
And don't freeze to
intend
death.
Get lost. Freezing in hell.
And you see the snow just as I do.
Is that a thing that can happen?
I was just laughing at the irony of it, that's all.
2/7 of hell is frozen. What are you talking about, Zoe?
I
Do
don't
not-
I don't I don't know those things.
Chuka goes squawk. Oh, sorry, 2/9, 2/9, not 2/7.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, we'll try to get back as quick as we can. I think I'll be okay. I've got some fuzz. I think I'll be okay.
And if anything comes up, you can talk to me like this, as long as we're within range.
Well, I'm not moving. I have to keep making sure the vehicles are, make sure nothing else is wrong with them. Have to put all the cogs and screws back in place, Having a fight like that we had back there was kind of jostled up the old noggin,
Still,
And what happens if I cannot hear from you in my mind? Do I presume you're dead?
first presume I'm too far away.
No, okay. Apologies. I am quick to the jump here.
If we're not back in an hour, just wait longer.
Very good. It'll take me more than an hour or two to get this whole thing opened up. Anyways, it's a long process. And it's cold, no less, too. Clunk, you have to come here for warmth. I'm freezing. Squawk! And with that, the three of you head out, leaving footprints in the snow that has fallen upon the ground. Pace by pace, you leave your companions far behind, with them standing guard and sitting and kind of, finding what little bits of the of your war buggy engine that can actually run and give a little bit of heat to stave off the cold in this place. But as you trek deeper and deeper into the snow, the wind begins to whip up and turn sideways and white out your surroundings. You have to trek on and press on against this frigid blast. Constitution saving throws, please, to resist this cold
Question.
as you push forward.
I forget how we resolved this last session, but were we able to take advantage of a short rest or not?
Yes.
Because that could be important here.
Yes.
Is this like a magical kind of cold?
Yes, this is supernaturally cold. Yes.
Okay. I get advantage on magical effects and stuff for saving throws.
Yeah, this is no mere weather. This is what did Chuka say? A planar osmosis happening.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means.
Okay, I just wanted to resolve that. Okay. Constitution saving throw is going to be son of a 7. You're muted.
9. I'm just realizing I'm explaining and I'm muted.
So Zoe, you are correct. Your satyr fur helps keep you warm. the less furred creatures in the party here, that being Eric and Jacob, you each can take 5 points of cold damage along your long journey through the winter cold. As you feel your teeth clatter, your jaw clench, your cheeks impaled by the snowy knives of the wind. You see in the distance something glowing like motes of light in this like misty air, this haze, red and green floating lights that not quite pulse but almost like get occluded from the passing wind and then reform once again in your vision.
Do you see that too, Eric? You hear it in your head.
I do.
As you continue forward, you realize they are not in the distance, these orbs. One of them right in front of you as you kind of begin to walk past it. It's about maybe a little bit smaller than the size of your head. Just this vaguely translucent, glowing, shimmering orb of red.
Like right in front.
Mm-hmm. And it seems to be more and more littering the path forward. And of course, ending in the great shadow that is the derelict war rig that you're being led towards.
Jacob will stick out a finger and see if you can touch one of these lights.
I'm
The
gonna
light
reach
hums.
out. I'm gonna reach out and grab Jacob's hand,
All
stopping
right.
him from touching.
Yeah.
Make a
So-
dexterity check, Eric.
Sure.
If you can make it before Jacob.
So he's gonna be like, maybe we should not touch those.
I have advantage on things I can see. That's 18.
And as you reach for it, Jacob, your hand is snatched by Eric.
It's a great way to lose 1, 2, or all 5 fingers.
Better
He's
to
right.
know if I lose a finger rather than accidentally walk into one and maybe lose my face.
Just avoid it. And I demonstrate walking around one of these lights.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
As you walk past one, it begins to kind of hum and float to the air and move, whoosh, whizzing forward. It's about 20 feet in front of you, though distance is a bit hard to measure because of the sheer blindness of all the haze and the snow. We definitely saw it move in your periphery to lead you forward, as if it's beckoning you to follow it.
As we're moving, can I do a thing?
Mhm.
Can I use my channel divinity preserve life and split that between Jacob and Eric?
Absolutely.
I would like to give 10 to Jacob and 10 to Eric. That uses all 20. Just as we're walking and Zoe's watching lights fly by. Just gonna be like, hey, Pat, you guys look kind of rough.
All right. Which will continue to follow these lights. There was just one of them, or are more of them moving?
One
as
at
we get
first,
closer?
and you see more and more of them begin to kind of come into view, red and green, in no particular pattern. These floating lights. And as you pass by some of them, they'll whiz past you to some pace ahead. And then after a few more steps, seems the wind just dies down suddenly, as if you've entered the eye of a storm, or just the wind has settled. The sky is clear. You can see long distance, and you realize within 50 feet of you, in front of you, is this massive, kind of half capsized into the snow and ice that's formed. One of those, one of your infernal engines, similar to it at least, but quadruple, quintuple the size, and half kiltered into the ground. It's frozen over in many places, long icicles dangling, from the overhangs of hell-wrought iron. The wheels have been broken and kind of cracked into the ice. And you see along the kind of the back right section, where you're coming in from of this vehicle, are like a kind of a latch or a door that's been frozen ajar. You see the ice is just sheened over it, preventing it from closing properly. And inside is sheer darkness, though these red and green lights kind of hover almost ceremoniously as like a fence on either side of you that guides you towards that particular set of doors, or set entrance, I'll say.
I would like, excuse me, I would like to take a drink of water.
You find it's frozen as you take a bit of your water skin.
I would like to just take a look around this open door, checking the ground in front and everything. This feels very much like a setup. So I just want to inspect the area around the door, the ground, everything for traps.
Give me that
I
investigation
ca-
check then.
I cast guidance, add that D4.
I
Alright.
helped with that.
Ooh, well, with advantage and a d4.
Advantage and D4 is buried. That didn't roll. But with advantage, that's going to be a 16 plus a 2 on the D4, so that's an 18 investigation.
So what you notice is there are no tracks going in or out of this. It's just a fresh layer of snow and ice that's formed over top of it. Even like you realize that like the way this is like kind of capsized, like it's already sunk into whatever ground there is, and you're kind of entering in kind of above what ground level would be on this machine. This entrance seems to be part of like some kind of hatch to enter in some kind of massive cargo holds of this thing, or kind of the back end, either where you can kind of see perhaps maybe like infantry would be kept, or lots of materials. But inside it's pitch black, hard to see. But there is like a bit of warmth that kind of radiates from the inside. Perhaps it's just some magical effect keeping the warmth inside, or some part of the machinery still humming to this day. It seems derelict and old and long past being attended.
Watch your step. And just keep an eye out for sharp edges, things to bump your head on, things to get caught on while we're in there. And I will kind of step down through the doorway into this. Leading the way.
As you enter in, the ground is slanted. It's a bit of a difficult entry with the slickness of the ice and the slant to it and the pitch black darkness. All of a sudden, a loud resonating sound echoes inside. And then it repeats again, this time a bit more muted, and then you kind of recognize the sound. It sounds similar to the engine that your own war buggy and Devil's Ride makes, at least was making here in the cold when Chuka was trying to restart it. Something about this machine still yearns to live, even as it sits here frozen. But otherwise, it seems empty in this cargo hold. Everything's kind of fallen to the one side from gravity, and you can see that anything's been just picked clean from this place.
Hearing that sound, I think the others would hear and see the sound of me reaching back and pulling that axe, just being at the ready as we can move on up through this thing.
And so it is pitch black for those of you who are unable to see in the dark. And then for those of you who can even see in the dark, it's still these shifting hazes of grays and from your dark vision. Do you have a light source that you can use to properly illuminate the area, or are you wanting to stay in the dark for surprise reasons?
Do any of us not have dark vision? Okay. I think just wordlessly, I'll reach back to part of my gear and pull a torch from my pack and just hand it over to Jacob. Based on those lights, there's a good chance whoever's here may already know that we're here. So, no sense stumbling around in the dark.
Jacob will take the torch and light it.
The torch seems struggling to keep a flame in this cold, but a small glowing, the tiniest of faintest of red fire illuminates the area surrounding you in bright light. And you can see just an empty, derelict, frozen over in some places. Other places you can see where things that were mounted onto parts of the insides of the walls of this thing have been like ripped off. There's holes where you imagine mountings would be. You see places where armor and weapon stands would have been, but they're empty. They've been picked clean and thoroughly cleaned through. And of course, there's a passageway that leads deeper into the massive machine. The walls of this thing are made of this, like frozen over. Now you can kind of see the tiling of like the spindles of like ice and frost forming over them, of this like strange, almost like not molten, but like it's kind of bumpy and irregular, this hell wrought iron, as it looks like it's been like flash melted and flash molded into some kind of perfect form in some kind of infernal foundry somewhere farther from here. It's nothing at all like what human hands could make, mortal hands at least. Something completely alien to it. And of course, there's pipes that have been burst open, you imagine from the cold, probably no bigger than like your hand in width, that lead all throughout the sections of the ceiling and of the walls.
Yeah, I just imagine leading our group as we're moving through these halls and following the passages. Most of the light coming from the torch that Jacob holds, and probably a little bit of a glow as well coming off of the Hellfire axe. As I'm doing everything, not so much trying to move stealthily, but carefully. Yeah. Keeping an ear out for any other sounds or signs that somebody else might be here.
As you continue to progress, kind of stooping a bit to get underneath the low sections of this vehicle, you pass by one of the compartments with its improperly sealed door. You see some kind of glow, some kind of ambient light coming from beneath this slightly ajar latch. And there seems to be a massive amount of warmth coming from this place, along with this like subtle green glow. Not green like those orbs were, but more of almost like a summer's day kind of green.
Is there a crack that we can peer through?
If you get like down on the ground to kind of peer through.
I was about to say Zoe was gonna kind of like crouch down and like.
Say, Eric is not crouching, not with this knee.
She'd be like, "Hold on, let me see what this is. And she'll crouch down and kind of maneuver herself because she's small anyway. So she's like,
Yeah. What you notice first off is the breeze that comes out from the bottom of this latch. It is scented. It smells fresh, like a summer's breeze on a field of grass and flowers on a meadow. You can see grass on the other side of this door. You can hear the sounds of a lazy brook and the sounds of wind rustling through flowers and through leaves.
Guys, there. It's like a doorway to somewhere else. Jacob, can you like come down here and just to make sure my eyes are not deceiving me?
Jacob will do his best to crouch down and peer through and see what Zoe is
The
seeing.
thing that you immediately notice is that all the ice and cold that seems to be attached to this particular part of the latch is actually like dripping off and melting and forming like a little puddle at the base of this latch. And you immediately see the reason why is this warm breeze flowing out from this room or whatever lies beyond this door. And Zoe's story is corroborated. You see wavy grass, though it's really hard to see. You do see like the little stalks of grass and the gentle breeze that kind of makes them sway back and forth, and it's the sound of a lazy brook.
Should I get out a bedroll and we're gonna set up camp here? You gonna tell me what you're seeing?
I'm seeing and hearing the grass and the flowers and smelling the flowers, and I'm hearing the little brook that's in. Are my eyes telling me something wrong, or
Didn't that bird say something about planar infusions or something?
The bird said a lot of things that didn't make a hell of a lot of sense.
not wrong? But
As they're both still crouching down, I'm just gonna, with the head of my axe, just push the door open.
As the door squeaks open, ahead of you, you see a field of flowers, a great pond fed by a lazy flowing stream. You see great trees in a copse around you. You see birds in flight. You see flowers blooming. It is an idyllic meadow scene. Right there, you're at the precipice of it, the very edge. And upon witnessing this, upon feeling the shivering in your bones and seeing this summertime scene, I need you all to make wisdom saving throws, please.
is this another magical effect? Yes.
How
Lord,
did you
help me.
know?
Dice are not in my favor today. That's another 7.
I got an
I-
18.
For some reason, have advantage on wisdom saving throws. I can't remember why.
It's being Vidalcan. They have a mental fortitude or something. Gives them
Oh,
advantage on
yes, on all
wisdom
intelligence,
savings.
wisdom, and charisma. Cool. Oh, that didn't help at all, though. 9.
Didn't you get a 9 the last time I got a 7?
Yep. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
be consistent.
Yeah.
All right, Zoe, you witness your two companions walking in to this scene. They stride forward into this idyllic meadow. Jacob, you catch yourself a foot in the grass. You realize around you there's no walls to this place. It's just an open meadow that goes on for who knows how far. You see, this doesn't make any sense. as you realize what's going on, seeing this like door to nowhere, like right behind you. You're Zoe, and standing on the other side of the door frame. But Eric, I want you to tell me, Jake, what is it about this pastoral scene that just tempts your characters above all else? What do they gravitate towards? Why has this scene just enraptured them? How do they lose themselves?
I
place.
think that this, while not an exact replica, maybe, but definitely it mirrors a time long ago when my sister Eva and I were, it's probably one of the last happy memories before Ava was turned. And it's just so reminiscent of that. It's kind of like when you look at a photograph of something that just triggers a core memory. I think that's what happens with Eric. It's a core memory feeling that the impossibility of this situation is overridden by that. And I think what drives me to walk forward is an expectation of seeing Ava here.
Mhm. You see ahead of you the same wooden bench that you'd sit on as your sister would play, as you would look over her, always as the eldest sibling does. And so here's the choice, Jake. Do you wish to remain in this place and gain the benefit of a long rest from this nice respite? This is a peaceful place where all of your worries can be left behind you. At least for the time being.
I'm not even going to question
permanent.
it. I'm not going to question this at all, because with that 7, Eric is not thinking tactically. There's no military background here or anything. This is stepping into this memory, seeing that bench. It's now a combination of that memory, but this is so warm here, and I've been so cold, and I'm so tired, and my knee hurts, and I just need to sit down for a minute. And I just walk over to the bench, and I lean the Hellfire Great Axe against the bench, and I just lower myself down and sort of plop in, and and I'm settling in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start rolling up a new character, I think.
All right. So Zoe, what do you do as you see, I guess Zoe and Jacob, what do the two of you do as you see Eric just stride and sit upon a bench?
Well, for Jacob, he was already partway into this place anyway. It's so inviting. And seeing Eric, who, well, there's tension there. He's always had respect for Eric, and having worked, been under him, under his command at one point, doesn't even question this. I mean, if Eric thinks it's fine, then this is great. And Jacob is so exhausted from their journey so far, the constant drive in that dusty, hot place, and then to be frozen, and now finally coming to this idyllic setting. Also not questioning it, following Eric, and we are going to rest our weary bones.
All right, Zoe.
Zoe's having a mini breakdown.
For you, the glamour begins to fade. The beautiful sky above begins to fade into the dark, oppressive, vaulted, wrought hellfire iron ceiling of this particular compartment. You see the grass fade away into this militaristic floor of this place, and you see Eric and Jacob sitting upon an outcropping of metal that might have been like part of bench, part of just a kind of a table, and you see that they're both wistfully staring at like a pool of like oil or like some kind of like weird like transmission fluid dripping from a broken pipe from the wall and ceiling.
How far away are they from Zoe? Like if Zoe were to
from
come
you,
in,
like
yeah,
like less than 10 feet away, even though you remember seeing them walk 100 feet into the distance. You realize
okay,
they're right there.
okay. Oh, this is gonna be mean. Okay, first thing Zoe is gonna do is she's gonna be like, she's gonna kind of call out to Jacob first and be like, hey, buddy, this is not what you think it is anymore. I think you should come back to me. I know you're tired. I can help you out a little bit. Just come back to the other side of this door, please. Something's not right.
Listen, Zoe, of course things aren't right. I mean, we're in hell and it's freezing over. So why can't there be a place that's green and beautiful?
Because this is hell. That's why there can't be this. This is literal hell. No. Jacob, please just and she's gonna reach her hand out. Just take my hand. I don't want to hurt you. Just take my hand, please.
Well, Zoe, Jacob will reach out to grab your hand, but he's not like coming with you. It's more of a, why don't you just come in here?
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna come in to relax. Oh no.
What's wrong, Zoe? Like,
a lot of things are wrong right now. Right now, I don't know what is going on with the two of you, but this is no longer what you like to believe it is.
It was a nice place to rest, but you keep running your mouth. Lay down on the grass.
Old man, don't start with me. There is no grass, or else I would lay in it. Fuck.
I just open one eye and sort of brush away at a bug that flies by my face, that I imagine flying by my face, and
A little bumblebee was just investigating your face, like, gentle and unassuming. Of course, nothing aggressive.
Have a seat in the grass.
Old man, don't start with me. Do not start with me. I will hit you first. Don't start with me. Can I really don't want anything bad happening to you guys, because we haven't traveled a whole lot together, but I want to make sure y'all are okay. And this room is not okay. And Eric keeps talking, and she watches him swat at most likely absolutely nothing.
You see what actually flew. You see what actually flew at Eric's face. It's like this weird bloated fly with a huge, bulbous red abdomen. It actually was like it was sitting on Eric's forehead for a bit, just like mosquito biting and gnawing on his forehead for a bit, and he swats at it, and it lazily flies away before wanting to get back onto Eric's yummy mortal skin.
Nommy nom nom. So the first thing that she is gonna do is as Jacob is trying to pull her in and she's trying to pull Jacob out, she will yank a little harder and use her ram unarmed attack to basically knock him in the head to see if she can kind of get him out of this. I'm gonna use my good die. Oh, thank goodness. 19. 23.
As you knock Jacob, I wouldn't say senseless, because you do knock some sense into him.
Yes.
Jacob, for you, after the world like spins, you got struck out of nowhere. You realize that the grass begins to melt below you and reforms into this slick dystopian hellfire steel, as well as the sky fading into just a vaulted, cramped ceiling. You realize what you're sitting on is uncomfortable. It's like digging into something that you really don't want it dug into. There's like this grimy puddle that your boots are already like sitting in and kind of like stuck. It's like this weird like tar is kind of like gumming up on your boots. And you see this massive bloated weird hell insect feeding upon Eric. And you realize with your hyper passive perception, there's others of them kind of looming about in the corners of this room, beginning to kind of buzz about.
I think Jacob's first reaction, of course, is to, Zoe, what the heck? And then, oh, blessed heavens, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I told you so. Get out.
And I think
Listen.
at this point, we're going to reach over and we're going to slap that mosquito bloated fly thingy on Eric's forehead.
As you do that, I'm already standing up. I'm like, will you two be quiet? I'm starting to unbutton my shirt. I'm going to go swim.
Oh my
That
god.
water
So
looks
he's like, no, please.
that water
don't do
looks so
this.
good. Watch out for the bees. You're going to slap me?
Oh, yeah.
Right, you can make a slap roll, please. Just unarmed strike, I guess. Don't roll
Unarmed
the damage.
Unarmed strike.
Make a
I don't
slap
know what
roll.
that is. I'll roll the
It should be on
d20.
your character sheet.
Oh, there it is. Unarmed strike +3. 12.
That's my AC.
So I feel like for you, Eric, all this like noise and bickering and banter, it's really muted for you. Even like like just Jacob just like put his hand on your shoulder, just like as a friend would, maybe like a little bit of a tight squeeze, but whatever, just like something that friends do. Right? As you are not at all removed from this illusion, this enchantment. You're in a peaceful oasis of relaxation. As you continue unbutton your clothes and go for a swim.
I'm stripping down to my skivvies. That is the plan.
Zoe, you get that side, I'll get this one.
Not what I expected to be doing in hell, but here we are.
Zoe is desperately trying to like stop Eric from
The
undressing.
two of you helplessly watch as you try your best, but Eric, shirtless, jumps and belly flops onto hard iron into the muck, face down. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this would knock you. This is like out. And so I guess, Eric, for you, kind of like it's like you enter a space where you are between dreams, I guess.
I imagine it, if you'll allow, in that as that happens, for me, there's that sort of plunging, and even more so, water creates this sort of soundless or very muted, almost cocoon-like space, and I think that's sort of this, for a moment, to me anyway, that's where I feel like I've gone into this underwater space as whatever is happening is happening.
And so now two of you have an unconscious Eric. I'm going to say just from the impact of this, you're going to take 6 points of bludgeoning damage, Eric,
That's fair.
and be rendered unconscious from just pretending that solid surface is diveable. Zoe and Jacob, you have an unconscious Eric at your feet, and you see all of a sudden, boom, or all of a sudden, these weird bloated insects descend from the ceiling, maybe a dozen of them, beginning to land on shirtless Eric's back, begin to like dig their claws and their mandibles into his flesh.
Nope. So I think the first thing that Jacob would do would be to see if we could like swat them out, like off of him, and like kind of do that motion, like kind of get rid of them, but then grab Eric's leg or whatever and start dragging him out of this room.
They hold fast like ticks on skin.
Yuck.
It's like you kind of swat them, they just like
I still have that
Just staying
torch. I will
Mhm.
put a torch close to one to see if it does anything to it.
and it sizzles and begins to flap its beetle-like wings and flutters off.
Okay. Zoe,
Hmm.
start pulling him out and I'll try to get rid of these things.
Okay, I was gonna help, but I'll just, and she's gonna like move so like she can grab Eric's arms and just kind of like piggyback him on her tiny body, drag him out the room.
And so as you use that, I meant like you're following behind, like smacking these things with a torch. And kind
Yeah,
of,
bring him, trying to get them off, and I mean, if it's not like, if Zoe's having a real tough time getting him out of the room, then he would actually just help her first and then worry about the critters. But if
I
we can do
think, like,
both,
I think it's definitely doable. Like this is something that people can do to each other, is like lift and carry and like lift
Yeah.
and drag each other. Like this,
Yeah.
it's not
Zoe
too
should be
much of an
fine.
issue.
yeah. So then would prioritize trying to get these off of his body before we get out of the room.
And like the chitin from the flame begins to like just sputter, and these things begin to like hiss at you. They open their mandibles in like a six-fold fashion and flutter off. By the end of them, you've had them all. They've all they've all resumed to roosting up into the rafters of this room as you pull Eric to safety out of this room.
Did anybody grab my clothes?
Well, we can go back and get them, but
Oh no, I forgot he's topless.
Jacob would definitely have gone back to get, once Eric is safe and out of the room and these things aren't on him, would go back to get whatever he's dropped behind.
They hiss at you as you.
I got my torch.
Don't you dare!
Hit him
Zoe's
with,
just
hit him with my great
grumbling.
axe. Hit him with my great.
Zoe's grumbling at Eric like, fucking old man, don't listen to me. I'm just the tiny satyr. No one listens to me.
So you recollect yourselves, slumping Eric against part of the wall of this passageway.
Yeah,
Imagine
definitely.
like as you return with the clothes, you can pull that latch down behind you, sealing it off. And so the two of you, Zoe and Jacob, you have a moment to breathe and discuss over top of Eric's unmoving body, unconscious body,
Sleepy.
sleepy, just concussed body.
Concussed body.
I would definitely be looking Zoe over, making sure there's none of those critters on her, just to make sure that we're also clean from them.
And yeah, Zoe will check Jacob as well because, you know, giant weird mosquito tick. Ew.
Yeah, you do a once over on each other, and it seems to be clear of them.
Okay, I still have that thing. I'm going to yell Eric in his brain, psychically, just like a really loud shout. Eric,
And Eric, you come to consciousness as have you ever had it in a dream where like someone's like yelling and like your alarm clock is going off or something, and you realize that you're actually in a dream and you gotta wake up, and then that's what happens to you. You realize I'm not conscious right now. What's going on? There's a voice yelling Eric at you. You realize this, Jacob's voice. It snaps you. Snaps you to consciousness. Your body is just alert and adrenalized, full of adrenaline as you snap to consciousness once more.
And I'm very disoriented because a moment ago I was just diving in a beautiful mountain spring. And I imagine now, having been pulled into this hallway half naked, it's probably quite cold. At least I'm not actually wet. like I thought I was. But yeah, I'm
You get
absolutely
the sticky tar. I don't know if Eric has like a hairy chest, but there's no way that this tar is getting out of that.
Oh,
Jacob
yeah.
would just throw his clothes at Eric. Put your damn clothes on.
Why are my
told
damn
ya.
clothes off?
You took him off, old man. You took him off.
You had to go swimming.
Apparently you were swimming. Yeah, that wasn't real, buddy.
I imagine I'm starting to come to awareness of, besides this tar that's all matted in my chest hair, there's like my wrist hurts, my elbow, my bum knee, everything where I banged into the ground, probably hit my head. Were we in a fight? What happened?
You fought
No.
the floor.
You fought the floor, buddy. You thought the floor was a pretty lake and fought the floor.
Yeah, it won.
Yeah. It's a good thing I can carry you when you're, not awake.
I start pulling on my clothes and I keep glancing at that door and shaking my head, like not entirely sure, sort of that feeling of a dream that's still lingering for a little bit. And I look over at Jacob. Could have swore you were there too.
Listen, I saw it too. But it wasn't real. It was a trap.
Yeah.
We fell into it. You harder than the rest of us. Luckily for us, Zoe kept her mind clear.
It helped that I basically headbutt you though too. I mean, I thought that I enjoyed that a little.
Yeah, we'll have words about that later.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Like, thank you. And
I appreciate that. Thank you. You're welcome.
I pull on my pack and grasp my gray sword, and I look down at you, Zoe, and put my hand on your shoulder and just give it a little squeeze and just say, nothing, actually. I don't say anything. I look like I'm going to say something, and then I just sort of do that. I let go of your shoulder and just do an awkward sort of
Pat.
We need to get back on task.
Yeah, we do. So,
With one
would you like
last
me
look.
to lead?
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to switch up a little bit here.
Can Zoe just toss a healing word at Eric? Coolsies. I'm gonna do that real quick.
I think you would see, before you do that, yeah, you would actually see where I banged my head. Thinking, not realizing you're turning around to do this, you see that I'm reaching up to where I banged my head, and you see my eyes flare, and my hand glows for a moment as I seem to almost wipe the blood and the injury away. I'm going to use my own healing hands feature to heal 2d4 points. It's a feature I have as an ASMR that I have not yet used. No, get 4 more points as I just basically just looks like I just wipe away whatever this gash or scrape or whatever was on my head. So not to stop you from doing whatever you were doing, but I wanted to do that in case you changed your mind.
Oh yeah. No, that's totally fine.
Hmm.
So you know what? Instead, she'll throw it at Jacob then. Because Zoe sees you do that and she knows Jacob was still not in the greatest shape. And then she headbutted him and she feels kind of bad now. Just a little, anyway. So we'll see. So that's 8 plus 3 is 11.
Thank you muchly.
Enjoy.
So as you progress forward down this massive war rig, you see that the section before you, where you imagine this boiler room to be, you're not quite sure where it would exist, but probably where the engine is, and you think, oh, the engine would be in the front because let's pull it. It descends downwards. There's these sheer steps that are, of course, off kilter because of the way this machine is capsized. They're glazed over with ice and very slick. But thankfully, there's like a handhold that you can kind of grab onto to make your way down into this dark depth with only this torchlight to illuminate. And how many of you are wearing gloves as you make your way down? So he's wearing gloves.
Just double checking what my
Gloves or gauntlets, yeah.
armor is. Oh, I'm not wearing armor. I'm a barbarian. What am I talking about?
You're shirtless.
I have
Literally shirtless.
I have studded leather armor, and I can only imagine that Jacob would have like black leather gloves to go with his black leather kind of trench coat
Everything.
and
Yeah.
stuff that he's got. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of armor, so I'm not wearing gloves.
Right. So one by one, you descend down using this like handrail for a bit of support. But Eric, you'll have to make a dexterity save.
Is this something I can see?
Yes, it is.
That is going to be double 16, so that's a 15.
Nice. As you like begin to keep your footing on the steps and reach down onto the handle, like the handlebar. Oh, sorry, the rail bar going down. You can feel moments before you actually grab onto it, that sheer cold, the sucking your heat from your hand. I don't know if you've probably one time been in a very, very frigid place. There's tales of children that get their tongues and hands stuck to frozen objects in the dead of winter. And as you're able to pull it away before your hand gets frozen stuck to the metal rail down to this dark depth.
As I do that, I sort of I do almost like touching my, instead, because I was getting ready to put my weight on it, I sort of shift and briefly bump my shoulder into the wall and push off again and just go, hey, but try not to touch any of the metal surfaces, any bare skin.
And so you make your way down. Eric, you have to go a bit slower because you don't want to use the handrail, despite the improper balance work you have. But as you descend, you see a glowing, and then as you descend further, you see a massive room, a hall with brick on either side, coming up these walls, these huge vaulted ceiling with chandeliers, 1, 2, 3 of them, a massive long table, oak, beautiful. And at the very far end, a massive hearth, glowing ablaze with a nice glowing flame. And on this long table ahead of you, just roasted boar, some birds, some potatoes, some sweets, some pastries, some butter, all along, just this massive feast set up. And seeing this massive feast, your stomachs grumble. It's been so long since you've actually had properly cooked food up and above in the mortal worlds. It's been so long since you've eaten. Make a wisdom save, everyone.
I'm going to use a soul coin to roll with advantage. Double 15s for a 15.
Ooh. I imagine that as you see this, it's too good to be true. As you stand there in awe, this is not real. All of you realize this is just like that previous room. But it doesn't fade, this glamour, like it did before for the two of you. As you step down this feast ahead of you that you're leery of. And then that crackling fire and in the distance, it fades away just to be an iron grate with something molten on the other side of it. This long table turns out to be some actual, it seems to be some kind of dining hall, but not at all something as banquet and ornate as the one that you were at. Instead of like, it's the militaristic steel, and on top of it is just this like frozen food. You don't even think it's food. You realize it's like these strange, like infernal beasts that have been, you know, cut up and half skewered and definitely not fit for mortal stomachs. Thankfully, it's too cold here for the flies and decay to set in. But none of it looks appetizing. There's like green slime in bowls that has been frozen over, and like this strange 3-headed creature that's been just kind of frozen in place, roasted and plucked with that strange like pocked like skin from lots of plucking, and lots of these like long finned kind of like triangle kind of like cone-like creatures. They seem to be like boiled and plump, though of course frozen, like the skin cracked in places, and the strange hooked legs kind of folded over each other and tied with some kind of twine in a big basket. Each one probably about half the size of a chicken. Of course, all of this is frozen with like frost covering it, and like the frostbite kind of like ice crystals forming over all of it. This is not appetizing for you in the slightest. As you resist this final enchantment, we see that molten glowing thing ahead of you. There's like kind of a wide set door in the far side. It's kind of got a strange latch to it that opens, at least from this side, adjacent to this like molten window. And inside, if you kind of peer into this molten window, you see this glowing, it looks like a combination of like molten magma combined with like some strange creature's maw. It's sitting there gnashing and like shivering. And you see all around it these strange symbols that are etched into like that molten surface of this object, as if they've been carved into it by some precise yet strong hand.
Do I recognize the symbols? Like, can I read it?
It is written in Infernal.
I can read Infernal. For some
You-
reason, I know Infernal.
You are not proficient enough in the arts of spell casting and arcane works to know actually what this says, but you recognize this at least to be some kind of like seal of binding that's happened on this particular orb. Something similar to like a circle of protection, but completely warped by the ideals and machinations of devilkind.
And it's on the orb?
Yes, it's like literally carved into the kind of molten stony magma flesh of this like mouth. It's like a solid, like a basketball sized shaped mouth made of molten like magma and rock with like teeth. And it's like it's not gnashing. It's like held in place, floating in this little compartment that you can't really like get into. It's just kind of like this like iron grate that you can kind of peer into.
I think the thing we need is inside this, but there's some sort of spell on it, Zoe.
I think it might be the thing we need.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's got a spell on it.
Yeah. Uh,
I mean, these things are magical
yeah.
constructs. And that kind of looks very much like the description of the Eon flux capacitor or whatever it was he said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know
he
why I'm
said it
talking
should
like
look
Jacob
like
all of a sudden.
Yeah, he did say it would look like it was going to eat us, but
He did.
I don't know if you could read. I know the words that it's saying, but I have no idea what it means. Like it's some sort of mumbo jumbo magic shit.
I don't read Infernal.
Well, I could tell you what the word is, and I don't know.
Okay.
So I'd
You realize that you're actually reading the instruction manual, like kind of carved on the one side. It's like, do not place within 6 feet of children. No.
It's an infernal version of the little image that shows 2 gears and a crushed hand moving through it.
Yeah.
do not get wet. Do not
Do
feed
not
after
get wet.
midnight.
The bottle pouring on a hand.
Avoid extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, we're screwed.
No laughter within 10 feet.
Oh no, we're all dead.
Choking hazard. Yeah.
How big was this thing?
About the size of a basketball in size.
What's a basketball?
About the size of a goat skin ball that you played with us in the yard as a school kid. Yeah.
I just look at Jacob. If that's the thing we need, then you should probably grab it, but carefully.
I should grab it. All right, okay. I should grab this thing, this magical thing that is going to eat me. Yes, I should do this.
Oh my god, you guys are babies. I will grab it.
So there's one obstacle for you to grab it. It's like behind like an iron grate on this side. You don't see any way of like popping this grate open, at least not from this vantage. Did you notice that there's like that door right next to this thing? Of latch, at least from this side. Perhaps that's the room where it's supposed to, like that it's in, that it's access to.
That's what we're assuming. Oh no. Okay, I see a door. Who's gonna come with me to go to the door to make sure that as long as there's a couple of us, at least one of us is gonna be able to
When you say
complete
door,
the task?
do you mean like full on door or like an access hatch into a engine compartment kind of thing?
It's like from floor to ceiling.
Okay.
Just like a big, like almost like a vault door.
Ooh.
I got your back.
Great. Yeah, Zoe will go to the door and try to open the door.
You pull down the latch, and you hear like a big, heavy as it unlocks. You can pull with all your weight, and it'll creak open. This massive hellfire iron door opens up, and you get cascaded with actual warmth in this place. It's like this muggy, almost like balmy, thick warmth that comes out. The air is thick and heavy on your lungs. It tastes awful. But you see ahead, there's a bunch of pipes and attachments and these cages and machinery that you have no way to make sense of, as well as one of them, which is this massive cage kind of near the bottom of the floor, with kind of an open top, well, an openable top, inside of which, inside this iron grate, is that massive, the decently sized, like the doohickey that you're looking for.
The doohickey.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to call this from now on. Is
Mhm.
the doohickey.
Yeah, the abyssal flux capacity drive.
Yes, the abyssal flux capacity drive. Okay.
There's a bunch of levers in this place. Many of them are
Okay.
kind of held fast. You imagine someone probably would have operated from this room.
Okay. There is like, yes, it's hot, but there's like nothing going on in the room. Like we don't hear anything going through the pipes or anything that's in here.
Every now and then you hear like a gurgle, like a sound, as like some kind of blockage gets unblocked from
Okay.
from the heated air or something, or like the gnashing of this creature really like begins to kind of echo throughout the pipework of this place. Or like it like jostles and smashes up against the side of the cage that it's in.
Okay.
It seems to be very alive and upset with its situation.
Okie dokie. How does this openable top open? Is it like
It just slides open, like
it just slides open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slides open. You can reach down and get it.
Oh no.
You do see up to the side like a pair of like calipers, I think we call it, like what you use to hold hot things. Yeah, there's like a set of calipers.
That's what I was gonna ask next. Is there something I can use that I can see in this room that I can grab this thing with? Because
you know, calipers. Notice the way that
fire
they're curved,
bad.
like, oh, that seems to be with the right size.
Yeah, she's gonna grab those and basically with a hoof, she's gonna pull that little top open. She's gonna reach the calipers in and grab it and slowly pull it out. She's gonna be real slow about it, so just in case, you know, there's a trap, because we didn't check for those.
As soon as you slide it open, the mouth turns up at you and begins like gnashing and begins like bounce back and forth, like smashing up against the cage, and then also you bring down the calipers on it, and it's like twisting inside, but it can't really. But you're holding like this, and like whoa.
Yep.
Wait. Zoe, can we just take the cage and it?
The
Does it
cage
look
seems
like
to be built into the actual
I was gonna
floor of the
say
machine, because there's like a bunch of pipes coming out of it, and
not possible? No.
no, unless you can find like a pot that maybe I could put this thing in. As she's saying this, as she's like flailing.
Yeah, is there any sort of vessel or like pipe and cap or anything around in this room that we could
not that you see, nothing big enough or strong enough that you imagine to hold this thing.
It's a good thing I have a good grip. Maybe it'll get tired in the cold.
Yeah.
Well, I have an idea. So you basically right now it's still in the cage, but you've got the tongs on it. Is that right?
I have pulled it out.
Okay.
And I am
And you're just
flailing
sort of-
with this thing.
I'm going to pull out some rope and start wrapping the rope around the handles of the tongs, not your hands, but the handles of the tongs,
Mm-hmm.
basically wrapping it around and tying it so that it keeps
So it stays
it
closed around it.
so
Yeah.
your strength can be used to maintain control and not also squeezing on this thing. That's the intent.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That helps a lot.
Should make it a little easier.
It does. I appreciate it.
If you feel like it's getting away from you, just let me know and I'll take it.
Okay.
Where do you think you're taking my pets? You hear a voice behind you.
Let's hear Zoe go, eep.
I immediately turn around and
Same.
psychic blade in.
You look into the shadows of that banquet hall that you came from. Nothing. Are you standing there like fools? Did you enjoy the gifts I left for you?
Can I throw my blade at wherever the sound is coming from?
You can't quite tell where the sound is
Okay.
coming from, but you can throw the blade.
I will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
As you launch, you can roll. Make that range attack roll. You launch your soul knife. It's soul knife blade. Yeah.
So it will be it's a 23 to hit.
You launch this psychokinetic dagger through the air, and it impales into the metal of the wall of the far side of this long hall. There's nothing. It did not land in anything or harm anything. Ineffectual.
Show yourself.
You hear a skittering that happens. The sounds of talons upon metal, the echoes above you. They're kind of echoes. And Zoe, I think you are muted. If you were saying something out to us.
Oh, I was saying something to myself.
Okay, good. Okay. I just, yeah.
Let's get out of here, Zoe.
But it's moving around us.
So we should just move. Keep going.
Just go.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stay at the back of our little trio with my great axe drawn and sort of basically back to them, just kind of looking around, scanning for whatever this is.
Yeah, and I'm going to be close to Zoe because I know Zoe's got her hands full keeping this thing. So I am protecting her and kind of looking in front of us to make sure we're not going to get like jumped around.
While I'm doing this and holding this thing, let me look at it really quick. Oh crap, never mind. Somebody else would have to hold it for a second.
You step out into this long hall room. This voice, this figure, does not make plain themselves. As you continue single file down to escape this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Behind you, Eric and Jacob and Zoe, you hear, "He wants me to show myself. Here I am." And from the backlit glow, silhouetted, you see rising, I guess descending from the shadow of this tall ceiling, is this long, kind of half scaly like reptilian and half like chitinous like a centipede. This long torso with these multiple sets of arms. In this long, and then you see at the bottom of it, upside down, though it cranes its head back around right to see you, so its body is kind of all twisted. You see wide mandibles. This almost like ice blue coloration. Atop its head is some kind of floppy sackcloth hat, soaked red with blood. You see it dripping down the sides of its face. You see the tendrils coming from below the mandibles of this insectoid face, streaming down, some kind of facsimile of a beard. I am Krampus. Get them, my minions! Don't let them escape with my pets! And all of a sudden you hear coming out, bursting out from the hidden spots of the pipeworks and the walls, like even like panels burst open. Multiple small, like gremlin-sized creatures, also wearing these bloody hats. You see some of them like grabbing these like bloated flies and grabbing and squeezing them on their hats to apply moist blood that drips down the sides and front of their face. They pull out wielding these wicked hell-made weaponry, these long sickles. They jump down. Their teeth are like filed to points. Their eyes are just massive and bloodshot. These like bloody beard coming down from their chins, wispy and unkempt and matted. Probably about a dozen of them bursting from the various parts of the walls. What do you do, the three of you?
Run! I yell.
I think the game cut you off there.
Oh, I yelled run.
Run! All right. So we enter a chase then. As you run, I would like everyone to roll initiative, please.
Are you freaking kidding me with these dice? That's a 1.
All right, Jacob, as you're racing, you realize you have to go up those icy, slick stairs, and going up them is much more of a difficult feat than going down them, especially in a hurried pace like this. I'll need you to make it either an athletics or an acrobatics check to make it up these stairs.
Do acrobatics.
Guidance.
Oh, what's guidance?
1d4.
Okay. So that'll be a dirty 20.
All right, you're able to scramble up to the top of the stairs. But the little red-capped helper minions jumping out, they begin to slash and nick at everyone that hasn't escaped up through these walls yet. That being you, Zoe, and you, Eric, as they slash at you with these wicked weapons. It's going to be an attack against you, Zoe. A 14 hit, which I believe is a miss. And
Yep,
then
that doesn't hit.
a natural 1 against you, Eric. Is I imagine like one goes to slash at you, and another one jumps on top of its head, kind of like crunching it down to the ground, and then it bounces off because they seem to be made of rubber. But unfortunately, quelling the attack, that it was about to like hook this massive scythe, this massive sickle, like on your leg, and probably like do something nasty to your carotid artery. And then this insectoid devil creature comes around, skittering around, exhaling a breath of frost again on the both of you that haven't escaped yet from this room. Both of you make a Constitution saving throw against this chilled breath.
Both of you being me and...
Yes, sir. Yeah. Zoe and Eric.
Constitution.
The ones that rolled shitty on your initiative rolls.
The 13. It landed on a 20 and it rolled. I'm done with these digital dice for tonight.
Yeah, I just rolled my regular dice. So my biggest one was, I have a +3 to con. So that's a 17.
All right, Zoe, you're going to pass. You're just going to take 6 points of cold. Eric, you fail. You take 12 points of cold.
Oh.
But Zoe, it is your turn again to climb up those stairs in a quick and hasty manner.
Fantastic.
How do you want to get up them? Athletics, acrobatics, or some other skill that you want to use?
I guess we will try athletics
All right.
because it doesn't. Both my athletics and my acrobatics are the same. It's a +2. So let's pray my dice like me. That's 16.
All right, you're able to make it up alongside Jacob, who's racing a little bit farther ahead of you. But you're able to catch up, keeping good pace with Jacob. Finally, Eric, it is your turn. You've been caught by that cold gale of the frost breath of Krampus. What do you want to do?
The other two have made
Zoe.
it up the stairs.
Zoe's gonna
Yep.
poke Eric before she runs and cast guidance.
So how far away is the Krampus thing?
It's right behind you. It's
Oh.
following, skittering along the
So
wall.
if the other two made it up the stairs, I am
Mhm.
going to turn around and recklessly attack, swinging my axe at it.
Okay.
I
On
am
the
going
ice devil
to.
Krampus.
So yes, I am going to use my Hellfire Great Axe. I'm going to use my Great Weapon Master. So rolling with advantage, but a -5. But I have. Does guidance work? The guidance doesn't work on an attack though. It's an ability
Nope.
check, right?
Yeah, guidance is only ability checks. But she can do
that
something
is-
next round.
That is a 19 plus 6 -5, so 19 plus 1. So that's a dirty 20 to hit.
Dirty 20 hits.
So that is 7 plus the 10 for the Great Weapon Master, so 17 points
Okay.
of Hellfire Axe damage, slashing damage. And I'm out of rages too. As I'm facing off against this thing to let the other two get away.
You puny little mortal. Ha! You think you can harm me? And you realize that the blow you've done upon this devil has almost done nothing to it. You've landed a solid blow. This would incapacitate a mortal like yourself, but it just kind of bit into a bit of like the chitin on the shoulder and bounced off harmlessly. Meta-wise, you have done damage to this thing, but not a very significant chunk of its hit point pool.
Is this kind of like so it's less about like it doesn't look, let me rephrase this. My hit landed, but it
Mhm.
looks like it's a very sturdy foe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm
Yeah,
reading
the
that right.
hit point bar went down boop, like 2 pixels. Yeah.
I'm gonna spend the rest of my turn just rolling. I'm just kidding. Do the Elden Ring dodge roll. No, I'm out of actions at this point, I believe.
Is this the way you want to treat the one that was spoiling you and giving you the gifts above? Peace and happiness and a way of escape from this place.
They're not
That's
gifts,
quite
they're curses.
naughty of you. We go to the top, Jacob.
My priority is to get Zoe out of here with what she's carrying.
Mhm.
So now
You
that
see
she's up,
even more of these red-hatted gremlin creatures bursting from the pipes and from the walls up here. Another like half dozen bursting out, like jumping, like slashing at where your neck would have been as you quickly duck.
I am going to whip out that Hellfire musket. I'm going to point it and shoot it at Krampus there. Meanwhile, yelling, Run, Eric! Get out of there! And
Normally
go,
this would be
Zoe,
a
go!
very normally this would be a very tricky shot, as like you're going down a floor and around kind of a corner. We can only see a part of this devil Krampus, but I mean, you are a sharpshooter after all.
Damn.
You need to ignore all those covers that it would have gotten.
Yeah, it's still only an 11 to hit.
11 bounces harmlessly off of its chitin scales.
And then I will move action, like continue moving out, but I've got the gun leveled. I'm going to basically going to follow Zoe out at this point, with the gun behind, protecting her.
Right. These red-hatted helpers, they slash out at you, Jacob and Zoe and Eric, each trying to get a blow upon you.
Attacks against
these
me are
hooked
at
sections.
advantage.
All right, perfect. So we'll start with Jacob because you're up top. That's going to be a 11 to hit against Zoe. That's going to be an 18 to hit, and then advantage 19 or 16. So 19. So it's going to be no. So it misses Zoe. So it's only against Eric. That's going to do 12 points of slashing damage to you, Eric. As this hook, this wicked hook, slices at you from an unseen direction. And then it is the devil Krampus, its turn. And it kind of peers up with these compound eyes past you, Eric. No, you will not escape. As it gestures with one of its arms. And behind you, as you kind of turn around, running back, Jacob, after firing your musket shot, you see these walls of ice filling up that large and spacious cargo room that was the first room that you entered, and the one that's like that you're kind of running into. And these walls, they don't quite prevent your passage. You're quick enough and witty enough, cunning enough to see like gaps that you can take to get through these walls, but it's made a veritable maze up here with these sheets of walls of ice. And that brings us then to Zoe. It is your turn. As you're holding this demonic engine inside your calipers, avoiding these hooked slashes from these small gremlin creatures that bounce harmlessly off of your armor. And this maze of walls of ice ahead of you. What do you want to do?
This hurts me. I mean, besides trying to get through the maze, she will run like she will stop for a moment, and basically what she's going to do is she's going to set these calipers down and step on it with her hoof so she can keep it with her. And then what she's going to do is, as a bonus action, as Jacob comes up and gets closer to her, she is going to cast spiritual weapon for anything that tries to come up, and it's going to be this, long sword and look pretty.
I mean, yeah, it's because this huge sweeping attack.
Mm-hmm.
And probably just like cut some of these creatures in half, or the other ones like jump away, jump back into the little hidey holes, holding onto their long hats as they do so, to avoid their hat being lopped off. That absolutely will prevent their actions next turn by doing this.
Then she'll pick her calipers back up and be like, let's get out of here.
All right, as you move in to enter as well alongside Jacob, this maze of ice, and you see the way that it refracts the light, you see dozens of your own faces all around you, like a maze of mirrors in some kind of haunted house. As you have no idea which direction is forward or back, as you begin to enter this place. as well as that a monstrous visage of that devil Krampus appearing all around and all over, coming from every and any direction. We then go to you, Eric, still at the bottom of this massive war engine, facing off against the devil Krampus, trying to land any kind of significant blow to no avail. What do you want to do?
Seeing how ineffective the first attack was from a damage point of view, but knowing that it stalled this thing long enough to put some distance between it and the others, I am going to disengage and take off running up the stairs.
All right. These stairs are slick and dangerous, and you do not have a proper handhold on the rail like everyone else does. You can make an acrobatics, athletics, or some other skill with disadvantage because of that, unless you want to just use that handrail even with the cold.
Nope.
To negate that disadvantage.
No, I'm going to spend a soul coin to negate the disadvantage.
All right, a straight up roll then.
And roll that. I said I wasn't going to roll freaking digital dice, and I did it anyway. That's a 12. Already clicked.
It was
the
a
button.
clamber up, not gaining much momentum, but you make it to the top. Your feet don't slip out from under you and crack your head upon the steps. You make it to the top, and you see those red-hatted creatures like hiding and cowering because this like magical blade is whizzing around, slashing at any of them that dare step out. As you recognize this blade to be the divine miracle of Zoe. And then we'll go to the top once more. Jacob, it is your turn to make sense of this like mind-shattering maze of like refractory images. We'll take an intelligence saving throw to be able to parse this information and make any sense of it, to make any kind of movement forward.
What if I want to just stop and look backward?
You don't even know where backwards is.
Okay, so intelligence saving.
Mhm.
Okay. 17.
Yes, you're able to like
Okay.
remember. You look at the ground, like the ground has footsteps, the footsteps of where I've been and where I've come from. And you're able to kind of orient yourself just for a moment, as you have like a little bit of a tool, as you're able to move normally, at least this turn, through the maze.
What I'd like to do as a bonus action, I want to take aim. I want to use my steady aim ability.
Mhm.
That'll give me advantage on my next attack roll this turn. But I can't move. It means I'm giving up all my movement. But I want to use that as a bonus action, and then I'm going to shoot again at Krampus.
Right.
I want to
Make that
buy
attack.
Eric some time to get up here. Oh, that's a lovely roll. It's 18 plus, where's my thingy? 24 to hit.
If you had failed your intelligence saving throw, you would have seen the bullet fly straight and true and crack into some icy reflection upon some wall. But because you know which direction is really which, you see the bullet fly through. It's not some mirrored ice. It is Krampus and true. Give me that damage, please.
Perfect. So I get to do that plus my sneak, because this was at advantage. Sorry, just checking my sneak damage. Yep. Okay, so we are talking 16 points of damage from the Hellfire musket and 5 more points of sneak damage on top of
sneak
that.
damage just adds on top of that.
Okay, yeah. So total of 21 points.
All right. Again, a massive blow to any creature that isn't this one. The health bar moves just a little bit more, a little bit of damage, just enough to catch this thing's attention. All of the red caps are unable to act as like the whirling blade keeps them at bay. Krampus then skitters up these steps, just lithe-like, and again tries to exhale another icy breath from behind. This one will only catch you, Eric, because you're the one in last place. Make me that Constitution saving throw.
Why
versus
do
the
I
cold.
keep clicking the digital dice? That's a 10. I have my dice right in
Right.
front of me.
You
Touching
are going
them.
to take 8 points of cold damage as the wind bites at your back, trying to freeze you solidly in place. And then it is Zoe's turn. You're in this maze of mirroring ice. You have no sense of direction. You see this looming, like this Krampus is getting closer and closer and closer from every way you look. You see your own face startled in fear. You see like the red capped creatures coming in from all directions. Intelligence saving throw to orient yourself this turn, or else you'll be able to make no significant progress through this maze.
I'm scared. Wish me luck.
We have 8 domain or soul coins.
Yeah.
8 domain coins.
You can use
It's
one to
5 for
It's 5 to make Vi re-roll. It's 3
Yeah,
to re-roll.
3.
It's
And
1 to get advantage.
One to just
1.
advantage.
I will do 1 for advantage.
Thanks to Tamiko, we got
Yes.
bonus 5 of them.
I'm gonna need them.
That's a natural 20 with my intelligence, I believe, is a 1. Let me just make sure of that. Yeah, so 21.
You're able to make sense of this maze for the time being. It cements in your mind just for a moment. You know which way is real, at least. You know which Krampus is real. What do you want to do? You got
I have the thing.
the thing.
I don't want, what I'm gonna do is, Eric's coming up. So as Eric is coming up, I'm gonna, as I'm moving forward to get out of here, I'm moving the spiritual weapon with me to kind of help cover our back some more. Hoping that Eric will kind of get, behind it or in front of it. Because that's all
Awesome.
she can do with holding this thing.
You make progress through the maze. If you can do this for one more turn, you can just see there's the exit right there. I really hope this isn't like a refractory illusion of the exit. You think it's right there. You're almost out. Eric, it is your turn.
I have every intention of running into this now ice-walled room. And yeah, I'm going to barrel forward and I'm going to slam into the first wall with the intention of, if I can, breaking through it.
Ooh, okay.
Barbarian, Joe.
Give me 2 damage rolls of your unarmed strike as what's going to do it for the damage. You'll auto hit. It's hard to miss.
Okay.
That ice wall.
So 2 unarmed. Okay, it's a little bit less because I do have an axe in my hands. Although I can interact.
Are you using the
put
axe
it
with
away.
this? Are you just like
No,
bodying
my plan
the
was
volley?
basically just to power through this, not more like body checking it than attacking it with the axe. So I'm actually, as I'm coming up the stairs, just put this thing away and just, you said 2 damage rolls?
Yeah, of your unarmed strike. We'll do that as a damage if you just like bring your elbow and shoulder into it or something.
Because I'm a specialist in fighting, the first one is a 7. And the second one, max. Second one's a 12, so 19 total.
19. That breaks through its hit point barrier. Your companions are fools to think that they have to weave and duck and kind of navigate through this maze. You just smash through it. Unfortunately, the shards of ice and the cold, frigid air that it leaves behind in the dust can give you some cold damage in retaliation. 3 points of cold damage.
I burst through this wall, and you can see the already from this other thing, this Krampus thing, my hair is already frosted and my gray hair is already frosted and frozen, and
Frosted tips.
Yeah, my beard has frost in it, and now there's shards that have cut at the sides of my face, and the blood's freezing as I burst through this wall. And I will.
You've caught up with Jacob, who's leveling this musket at
Tamiko in the chat. Oh yeah! That's a break through the wall.
yes, Eric, the Kool-Aid Man, Helios.
Yep. It's that cool winter flavor.
All right, then we go back to the top. Jacob, it is your turn. As just smashing through this ice wall right next to you is Eric, just again like embedded with the shards of ice and freezing at the back. What do you want to do? You'll get to roll. I guess at the beginning of your turn to orient yourselves with the refractory mirror maze of this place. Roll that intelligence saving throw. Advantage. Oh no, you already have advantage.
Already
anyways.
again,
Never
yeah.
mind.
So that's a dirty 20.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're at home in this kind of maze. It's not at all effectual on you.
Oh,
What do you
it's
wanna
like
do?
being underwater, right? Like
Mhm.
it's okay, so he's up here, he's past me now. I am going to use this turn to actually just move and try to catch up to Zoe, where I can then
Mhm.
take another hunkering down spot to shoot. So this one we're just going to move.
Yeah, perfect. You're in a similar boat as Zoe, as you can see the exit. All it takes is one more turn, hopefully, and you'll be out.
Perfect.
Best case scenario is one more turn. You're like, it's right there. It's right there. The exit. You can see the glowing red and green orbs that had heralded your arrival. The little helpers are being harried by the spiritual weapon. So then it is Krampus's turn. As you all around, you can see like the visage of the Krampus getting closer and closer and closer, but also farther and farther away as it moves around. The skittering happens all around you, echoing off of these walls of ice. As out of nowhere, a hooked hand talon will slash out upon, let's see, upon Jacob. It'll attack you with advantage because you're unexpecting. It's to strike from this angle. That is going to be 17 to hit.
That does miss.
Ooh, awesome. You're able to uncannily dodge out of the way. Noticing this like hooked claw that leaves a trail of like frost and ice crystals in the wake of the claw. You imagine if that had connected, it would have probably like frozen a section of your body solid. That brings us now to Zoe. Let's make an intelligence saving throw to orient yourself
Yeah.
in the maze of this place. As the exit, you realize,
I'm
no, is it this way? Is it this way? You kind of lost track of where you were as you saw the visage of Krampus coming from any direction.
But
Would you like to use a soul coin to roll this at advantage?
yes,
All right.
because my +1 scares me. My whole +1 intelligence horrifies me. Okay, so 20. I got a dirty 20 because it's 19.
Nice. Nice. You can see the actual true exit. You know how to navigate through these ice sheer walls. And do you move towards it for your turn? You bolt out, you jump and leap, and you clear this massive war rig and land in a kind of puff of
Zoe's
snow.
hooves just leave a trail.
You were outside of this massive rig with your prize in tow.
Are you okay,
Your
Mr.
companions
Thomas?
behind you. All right. We will then go to lastly on the list, Eric. What do you want to do? You have to get any sense of direction. You have to make an intelligence saving throw to orient yourself.
Yeah, I am going to do this. Turn that off. Turn these. I'm going to spend one for advantage. To make that intelligence save, rolling real dice this time.
Very smart.
Ooh, that is a natural 20 for a Total of 20.
Nice. So you also know which way to go. And again, just like Jacob and Zoe. So I guess you're 2 moves behind. If you were to move, you'd be 1 move out. What do you want to
Yeah,
do?
I'm spotting where they're going, trying to see
You're
that,
following along.
because I used pretty much any momentum I had to break through just that first wall. And yeah, I kind of get my orientation, and I just start moving through these as far as I can.
Awesome. You see the exit. Again, just 1 more move. Just it's right there. If you only had just a few more moments, you could get out of this place. Go to the top. Jacob. A few more moments, you can get out of this place.
Okay.
But of course, you're distracted by this hooked claw coming out of nowhere. And then the world again re-enters that strange, disorienting way. Intelligence saving throw.
Okay, that is a 23.
Oh, yes. The world makes sense as it always does.
Zoe's out, and Eric has
He's
caught up
right
to
with
me.
you.
Okay.
And this hooked claw came out of nowhere trying to attack you.
Yeah, so because Zoe's gone and Eric's right here, I am going to use this turn to also move and get out.
All right.
And then I'll cover Eric's hopefully exit.
All right. You use your turn to exit this place, diving and ducking and weaving through the last of these ice walls. And enter, and Zoe, you'll see Jacob next to leave this terrible place, entering into the frigid, blizzarding snow alongside you, as you have these wistful, glowing orbs of red and green floating alongside the both of you. The red caps are continuing to be harried. All right. Devil Krampus goes to strike at you, Eric, from some unsuspecting angle. We'll roll this with advantage because he's attacking from hidden. Ooh, that's going to be 25 to hit.
That's more than double my AC.
All right. This is going to be a claw attack. Okay, that's going to be so 12 slashing and 7 cold for 19 damage total.
I imagine as I'm charging through right behind them, the 2 of them looking back through this opening, kind of seeing these refracted images, and Jacob, as you just went through, you see maybe a couple refracted images of Eric turning, seeing where you went, and then just a spray of blood. I am unconscious.
All right, that brings us to Zoe. It is your turn. You can hear and see the spray of blood as you imagine that Eric has been downed.
Okay. Zoe is going to hand off this caliper to Jacob, and she's going to be like, you just keep running. I will get him. And she's just going to bolt back in and go to grab Eric.
All right,
There's gonna be
intelligence
no
saving
stopping.
throw to navigate the maze from the inverse direction.
Oh my goodness. +1, right? Yeah. So 15.
15 is enough to get your bearing. You see the just gored form of Eric splattered up against one of this ice walls, and you see bearing down upon the body, ready to just devour the dead and dying body of Eric, is Devil Krampus. And it turns his head up. You want to be next? I imagine you'll taste just as good as this one. What do you want to do?
Oh, we'll see about that. Zoe is going to we are going to brain not working. We are going to guiding bolt first. As she's running up, her hand is going to go this beautiful gold color, as she is going to hurl a guiding bolt from, she's casting it at 2nd level.
Ooh.
Um,
Make that ranged attack roll then.
so that's a 21 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, I don't think I have 5d6 out right now. I think I have 4. I do, I have 4. So that's 10, 16, 17, and then one more. 21 damage.
Ooh.
And it's radiant damage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It sears the flesh. As you strike it with a guiding bolt, it hisses. Your magic won't work in this damned place. Ah! It worked. The magic obviously worked as it kind of like using one of the hands, like grabs at it, hissing. You have your bonus action left that you're using to maintain concentration on your spiritual weapon. You're currently using it to like harry those red caps, but
Yep.
here, do you want to bring it out to strike at?
Yeah, she's gonna move it closer to
Yeah.
strike at Krampus.
All right, give me that attack roll against Krampus.
So let me make sure I do it right here. So it's a +5 to hit. So that's another 21.
Ooh, that hits.
And then it's 1d8 plus my ability modifier. So 1d8 plus 3. So let's see. Treat me nice, dice. 7.
All right, again, this sword slashes down. Ah! It hisses. At
Back
this.
off. Give me my old man.
Eric, it is your turn. You
Right.
must make a death saving throw.
I have 1 die that I use for every death saving throw
Ooh.
ever. Fun fact for those that know, it's my Atcon D20.
Oh, yes.
I've always, since I got it, that's the die I use.
I hope you get an at 20. Krampus doesn't.
I got a 13. So that's
That's
one success.
one pass. Jacob, it's your turn. You've been handed off this strange doohickey in these calipers that are binded to it, and you underestimated how much this thing just kicks and yanks you around because Zoe kind of got used to the bite of this thing, but it's tossing you about, trying to keep you steady. But Zoe's charged into there, and you can hear the boom and the of the radiant damage being dealt by her miracles. What do you want to do?
Because I have the thing in my hand and I know how capable Zoe is, Jacob is going to book it towards the war buggy that we have.
Back to your buddies. Okay.
Yeah. If I don't know if we traveled more than a mile or not.
You did end up
Okay.
losing connection.
Okay, well then I will just run back. I'll just keep running back. Yeah, use my turn to keep running.
So you run with the prize in tow, leaving your companions behind, hoping that they survive.
Yeah, I'm that player.
We go to that was the top. Then it is Krampus's turn. Looking over to you, I will have my prey and you will be next. I will freeze you solid and suck your blood dry and claim your soul to be mine. This is what happens when you do not accept the gifts of Devil Krampus. And as it yells out, another gout of frost breath envelops you. Constitution saving throw, please.
Coolsies. 15 plus 3 is 18.
Okay, so you'll take 3 points of cold damage, resisting a lot of its effects upon you. It is now your turn.
Does that count as an attack against me too?
It wouldn't actually affect you. It kind of expelled it. Like you're beneath it.
Okay.
It wouldn't hit you.
It's okay.
You're not in the area of effect. That's the word for it. That's the phrasing.
We're gonna do a thing.
All right. Thing time.
Zoe is going to dismiss brain spiritual weapon dismiss spiritual weapon, and cast prayer of healing on herself and Eric. And that's 2d8 plus 7. So this should be funsies.
So not to be that guy, but I've had this come up because I play clerics a lot. Prayer of healing takes 10 minutes to cast.
That's true.
Okay, you take 10 minutes to get. I'm kidding. In the thick of combat, you take 10 minutes. It gets 100 action against you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
I thought it was a different one. That was the 10-minute one, but yeah.
No, it's the prayer of healing. I play
Yeah.
a lot of clerics, and I've had that come up because I've done the same thing. I'm gonna do this. Oh no, you're not.
Oh no, you're not. But I can do this because am I close enough? Am I close enough to touch Eric?
You can be, absolutely.
Can I?
If you
I can
choose
move
to
up
wish
to
to.
touch him.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's gonna come up and basically what we'll do then is she's gonna hand on his forehead and cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level. Then is what we'll do.
All right, you are healed, Eric. Do you have the feature where you get bonus points from being healed? Is that later?
Yeah.
Sorry,
It would
for
be
the zealot barbarian.
No, no, my current
That's later.
feature is if a spell is needed to bring me back to life, it requires no components.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm just double checking, but I don't see that I get any other.
That's what the feature was.
benefits.
I thought it was like bonus hit points or something, but
Nope.
20 hit points back.
I mean, that's like half my HP almost.
Mhm.
And it is your turn now, Eric, as you are prone but conscious. And Zoe is there blasting like radiant magic upon Devil Krampus, as well as like healing you with the same kind of like clerical miracles. Does Zoe say something to Eric as Eric pops back up to consciousness?
As she hears Eric gasp, she's like, I am going to need you to either, we're going to pick ourselves up and I'm going to need you to either pick me up and haul ass or you need to help me hit this thing. So
I'm
what are the other buddy?
already, as you're saying that, I'm already scrambling to my feet and picking you up over my shoulder. And I'm looking for the exit.
Oh, that's right. You're still disoriented. You got to make that intelligence saving throw.
One move away.
Make that intelligence saving throw.
My pointy?
Yes. So instead of using a soul coin to get advantage, you can just roll advantage from the health.
Yes.
Okay. So rolling 2 real dice. So with advantage, that is a 16.
That's enough. Between the two of you, you put your brains together and you're able to fumble together. That is the direction to go. You find it and you're able to jump out. Describe for me, Jake, what it's like as we see from a distant vantage, looking upon the exterior of this capsized war machine. What's this like as you escape with Krampus close behind?
There's just this moment of disorientation. Actually, you know what? No, I think the only sign of any disorientation is the illuminated eyes that are always there just squint against the sudden bright light of this exterior compared to the interior. And with Zoe over my shoulder, just moving as fast and as far as I can. There's probably a little bit of that stumbling here and there because I was pretty badly wounded and I'm an old man with a bum knee. But I almost picture it just this at the moment that I burst through, there's just this, or that we burst through, just this sort of, and then the camera just sort of showing this moving further away until you see in the foreground and Jacob just running and just running as fast and as far as we can.
And we see zooming up ahead is Jacob running, getting kind of knocked kilter a little bit from the fluctuations and the machinations of this abyssal orb in the calipers, but you're able to continue your progress forward. We see at the entrance, the exit, the egress of this war machine, the Krampus kind of grabs onto the sides of the hull, kind of glaring and growling. They're getting away! Fire the dragon cannons! And all of a sudden, the bits of the hull of the side of the capsized war machine kind of lift up, almost like almost like a ship, like a water, like a sea ship with cannons. But these massive, like arcane sigiled, almost like dragon heads made of iron, kind of roll out, and you see like these the little red-hatted creatures kind of pushing, and one of them like has the thing that rolled over its foot. But eventually these maws open up, and four of them launch out, and you see that they are bolts of lightning that arc in the air up above you, and almost like fireworks that are lethal. They go explode, and these dragon heads, almost like holographic and made of pure lightning, come roaring down upon the locations of the three of you. All three of you make dexterity saving throws, please.
Zoe just hears me go, "Oh, come on!" How does that affect Zoe's dexterity if I'm carrying her?
Oh, I guess Zoe
Yeah.
doesn't get a chance to roll dexterity. You get
Could-
basically Jake. You have to roll for the both of you, I guess. Your one roll
I
decides
have
both of your
advantage
feet.
because I can see it.
Yes.
So, well, I got a 6 on the low one. Good thing I got an 8 on the high one, making that a 7.
Yeah, so I've got a +7 to my dex.
Mhm.
I have a 10. I got a 10 on that save.
You get swallowed up, all of you, by these dragon. They come in arcing. You can see the bits of lightning sparking off of them, like grabbing the ground, almost like this Tesla arcing cacophony. And it like arcs into your flesh, into your skin, into your hairs, and burning you from top down. As you're going to take a bunch of lightning damage, all of you, as their final gambit. 11 damage, all of you, of lightning damage. Like 11 to each of you, excuse me, of lightning damage from this dragon artillery. And then, if all three of you are standing from this assault, this devil Krampus will mutter something and grab one of these red-hatted creatures and just hold it up and literally just break its neck open in frustration, and yelling at something else out in Infernal. Jacob, unfortunately, is the only one that understands it, but you're too far away to hear what it says. You make it. You make it with your prize, this abyssal device, this creature bound by infernal sigils. You catch your breath, you race and run, and you return to your companions that are tinkering and working upon your broken down machines. Oh, of course, yes, you've come when returned. Huh, easy, imagine. And looking at like the frost and the lightning scars. It was easy, I imagine, right?
Right, as I pull shards of ice out of my face.
I told you not to freeze. Just now bring that here. It took way too long.
Jacob would just like hand it over, not even saying anything at this point because
You hand it over like uneasily with the calipers, and just Chuka like holds up, like just directly grabbing the creature thing. It's harmless. What are you talking about? And then goes like puts his talon hands into like the maw and begins to strainly pull on like the jaw. And it's like resisting and beginning almost like to whimper, I guess, and rips it open in half. Now we have enough for the both of us. And that's where we're going to end the session, as Achuka uses the broken in half abyssal flux capacity drive to re-enhance and restart the engines, the infernal engines of your 2 war machines, as you begin to head out on your way into the dust and blizzard, leaving all of this behind you as you enter again the long road of hell to get the sword of Zariel. As we're ending our session tonight. Thank you all, everyone, for watching, and I will toss this all to Jake to closing statements.
Kudos to Vi for managing to slip a Christmas special episode into the pits of hell. Did not see it coming, even though we were making jokes about the red and green balls being side chat was on fire. I think Tamiko noticed that as well, because we kept reacting to things unsaid. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I thought Eric was gone. I thought Eric was going to die in there. But Zoe coming to the rescue. No, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you for Battle Rock. I never know how to say your name, but thank you for that those bits. We will apply that. So for our next session, which, as a reminder, our next session is going to be in the new year. This was our last session of the year. MTD is going to be taking the month of December off from live games. Every Monday we will be having our pre-recorded one-on-one interludes for Scribes and Scrolls at 8 p.m. Eastern, so be sure to tune in for those. Catch up on all of our streams over on youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain. Yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Battle Rock and Tamiko for the subs and the bits, and we went through some soul coins tonight. We are, in just a moment, we are going to send a raid over to our friend Granomir 1, who is a real-life friend of mine and Dwight's, who is doing a video game stream. I believe has just kicked off a fundraising stream as well. So you'll want to head on over there, check that out, throw some support at Ryan if you can. Thank you to everybody in chat, especially if you are somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the background. We appreciate you all the same and hope you enjoy the show. And of course, a huge thank you to our amazing Dungeon Master Vi, and to Karen and Sarah. And even though they weren't here, they were here with us in spirit, Nicole and Dwight, without whom all of this would have just been Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. With that, we are going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want. It's a happy holiday.